All right, ready for the next fun lesson? Today we're going to be estimating with two-digit divisors. I know everyone loves a good estimate. For our learning goal, we're going to be using compatible numbers to estimate quotients. All right, time to focus in on some key vocabulary. First, compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to compute mentally. Basically, that means it's easy to calculate something in your head. Things that are compatible work really well together. Since you see the pencil, pause the video and write the vocabulary for compatible numbers into your journal. Now it's time to estimate quotients using compatible numbers. We're going to look for those basic facts and patterns just like we did in the last chapter when we were multiplying. Start with the divisor. In this case, my divisor is 22. I'm going to estimate that to be 20 because 22 is closer to 20 than it is to 30. Then I'm going to use the basic facts of 2 to find my compatible number. So think of multiples of 2 that get you close to 14. Well, in this case, a multiple of 2 gets you to exactly 14. So I'm going to rewrite the 14. Everything behind it turns to zeros. So now I have 1400 divided by 20. Again, basic fact, 14 divided by 2 is 7. Here's a difference from multiplication. I'm not just bringing all the zeros over. Instead, this 0 and this 0 cancels out because there's 1 with each number, and the extra 0 gets brought over into my quotient. 70 is my estimate using compatible numbers. Sometimes your directions are going to ask you to find two estimates for a quotient, one a little bit higher and one a little bit lower. So let me show you how to do that. Again, I'm going to start with the divisor. In this case, it's 27. 27 is closer to 30 than it is to 20, so I'm going to change it to 30. Now I know I'm finding multiples of 3 to find my compatible numbers. Well, 9 is a multiple of 3, so I'm going to rewrite the 9, and everything behind it's going to become a 0. Now I have 9,000 divided by 30. Go to your basic fact. 9 divided by 3 is 3. There's a 0 on this side that cancels with a 0 on that side. Those are the only zeros that cancel, so the other two go into my quotient. My first estimate is 300. Because I rounded 9,144 down to get 9,000, I want to do another estimate where I'm going a little higher than my original number. My divisor is still going to stay 30, and I'm still looking for multiples of 3, but now I'm looking for a multiple of 3 that is a little bit higher than 9. So think of your multiples of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12 is the next multiple of 3 that's a little higher than 9. So I'm going to rewrite the 9 as a 12. Again, the 3 digits behind it turn to zeros. Now I have 12,000 divided by 30. Basic fact, 12 divided by 3 is 4. I have a 0 here that cancels with the 0 here, and the other two zeros go to my quotient. So I have one estimate of 300 and one estimate of 400. The better estimate is going to be this one because 9,000 is closer to my original number of 9,144 than 12,000 is. If I actually did the division, my actual quotient would land somewhere between 3 and 400. Let's check out another example. Again, starting with the divisor. 86 is going to round up to 90. I'm going to be using multiples of 9 to find my compatible number. Well, if I think of my multiples of 9, the closest I can get to 71 is 72. The two digits behind it are going to turn into zeros, making this 7,200 divided by 90. Basic fact, 72 divided by 9 gives me 8. This 0 and this 0 cancel, and I have one more 0 to bring over into my quotient. My first estimate is 80. But remember, I want to do two estimates, one higher and one lower. This one was higher because we rounded 7,130 up to 7,200. So now let's do an estimate that's a little bit lower. My divisor is still 90, and I'm still getting multiples of 9. But now I want a multiple of 9 that's less than 72. That multiple would be 63. So instead of 72, I'm going to write a 63 and behind it 2 zeros. Basic facts, 63 divided by 9 equals 7. This 0 and this 0 cancel, and another 0 comes over into my estimated quotient. So now I know that if I actually did the division for this problem, my quotient would land somewhere between 80 and 70. The better estimate is 80 because 7,200 is closer to my original number than 6,300 is. Since you see the pencil, take a moment to pause the video and write these examples into your notes. All right, let's bring it back to the problem solving. McKenna needs to earn $532. She plans to babysit to make the money. She charges $12 per hour. We want to write two estimates McKenna could use to determine how many hours she needs to babysit. Well, first, let's write out the original problem. It's 532 divided by 12. I want an estimate. 12 is closer to 10 than it is to 20, so I'm going to rewrite my divisor as 10. Now I'm thinking of a multiple of 1, or a multiple of 10 in this case, that gets me close to 532. That would be 500. Using basic facts, 5 divided by 1 is 5. This 0 and this 0 cancel, and the other 0 comes over into my quotient. Now 500 is a little less than our original number of 532. So we can also do an estimate that's a little greater. I'm still using the divisor of 10, but now I'm looking for a multiple of 1 that's a little more than 5. That would be 6, and I still have my 2 zeros behind it. Basic fact, 6 divided by 1 is 6. This 0 and this 0 cancel, and this 0 comes into my quotient. So McKenna is going to have to work between 50 and 60 hours if she wants to make the money she needs to earn from babysitting. Let's see another example. I know you like the bobbleheads I have down at the bottom of the page, but let's focus here. Alex paid $477 for 2 dozen collectible bobblehead dolls. About how much did he pay for each doll? Well, first, here's our key that we're estimating. About how much. They're not asking us for a specific answer. We're asking an estimate. Now, the other thing we need to key in on here is 2 dozen. If you don't already know, 1 dozen equals 12. That means 2 dozen is 24. So 2 dozen means 24 collectible bobbleheads. We want to know about how much he paid for each. Well, if we were actually solving the problem, it would be 477 divided by 24. But they're asking us for an estimate. Again, start with that divisor. 24 is closer to 20 than it is to 30. So I'm going to be finding multiples of 2 that get me close to the 4. Well, what do you know? 4 is a multiple of 2. So I'm going to rewrite the 4, and everything behind it turns to zeros. Now I have 400 divided by 20. Basic fact, 4 divided by 2 is 2. This 0 and this 0 cancel, and this one comes over into my quotient. So my estimate here is 20. He paid about $20 for each of his bobblehead dolls. Okay, now it's your turn to show what you know and try one. Publix received a shipment of spaghetti sauce. They have 182 jars of sauce to place on the shelves. If they can put 32 jars on each shelf, about how many shelves will they need for all the spaghetti sauce? Go ahead and pause the video and try working this one out in your journal to see how many shelves they're going to need. Well, here's the work. How'd you do? Did you say that they were going to need about 6 shelves for all the spaghetti sauce? All right, it's that time again. Summarize with your LOL. Time to show me what you know. What have you learned from this lesson? In your math journal, you're going to explain how you can use compatible numbers to estimate quotients. Explain. That means I want you to use vocabulary. You can put examples in there too, but make sure you use complete sentences in your response. Good luck!